Okay, so when you install MongoDB, okay, so first time when you install, this is the default directories. This is for MongoDB server process, means binaries location, default binaries location, and default configuration file location, and MongoDB, so data directory location, and MongoDB log directory location. So when you install first time MongoDB, these are the default locations it takes. So we know how to install MongoDB and what is the default port number 27017. This is the default port number. Default port number. Okay. So suppose now, so I want to create multiple clusters in the same server. So to install MongoDB, so there is a prerequisite, some prerequisites are there. So the kernel version should be okay. So the kernel version, it should be UE8, like you can see here. So the kernel version, when you use to find the kernel version, uname -r to get the kernel is the main background process in Linux operating system. So kernel version every based on the Oracle operating system version, the kernel version changing, it will change. So we need a kernel version like this. You can see here. So we need like this. Uname -a E19. So not you can see the initial kernel version like this. UEK. It's not UEK. It's not supported. UEK kernel. So it should be like this. So first we have to set the default kernel version like this. So in real time, this kernel version setup everything taken care by Linux admin only. For in our local system to install MongoDB smoothly, yes, we have to everything we have to take care at Linux admin activities or DB activities. So in real time, this is taken care by Linux admin only. So how to find the what is the line kernel version? This is the kernel version. So what are the available kernel version? You can use list kernel versions. So then, so out of this is the currently which one you selected. You can say U18. So this is the currently it's a default selected. This is the currently assigned kernel version. Available kernel version. These all are. So we required this one. We required this one. So you can set a default kernel version. So how to set sudo grub set default. You can use /boot/vm. This is the kernel version where default we can set. So after set it's required to reboot the Linux machine, then reboot, then you can verify. So this is the finally it was assigned default kernel version. It's not UEK. Okay. So that's where we can, that is the prerequisites before installing MongoDB. Then also there is a SE Linux configuration. So SE Linux, it should be permissive. So by default, enforcing, the value will be enforcing. You can set the enforcing to permissive. You can like this. Sudo set enforce equal to 0. Then it will be changing. Always the SE Linux, it should be permissive. So these two we need to change it. Then after you can start the Mongo installation. Then create repository. Then install the MongoDB. Then start the installation. Simple. So to create a repository file, yes. So we know how to create repository file. So in MongoDB website there we can get the repository file, repo file. So you can change the version. So MongoDB 7.0 we are using because our Oracle Linux we are using 8.10. So Oracle Linux 8 it support MongoDB 7 only. If you want to install MongoDB 8 onwards, it's required Oracle Linux 9. So just create a repo file, then install the MongoDB. Okay. Then after installing MongoDB, then start the MongoDB services. It's a very simple MongoDB compared to Postgres. So when you start the MongoDB, when you see status of MongoDB, MongoD.service. So in the status we can see, so what is the configuration file location and file name? What is the binary location? And what is the service file location? These all you can see. So then we can connect the MongoDB. How to connect the MongoDB? There is a client tool, Mongo SH, client shell, Mongo shell. Mongo SH. So Mongo SH, yes, we are using Mongo SH. By default, it connected to port number 27017. When you give Mongo SH, it's connected to database. Okay. So once you connected MongoDB, if you want to know the data directory, configuration file, everything, this is the command. Server command line operations. db.server command line operations. So here this case sensitive. So wherever they can see db server, then command. In the command C capital, then line command line operations. In the line L capital. Operations OPDS shortcut. O is the capital. So like this is the function. It gives the data, it gives the what is the current data directory, what is the configuration file name, what is the binary location, so what is the log file location, everything we can get it the with this function. In case of Postgres, we have to use different parameters, show data directory, show port number, show configuration file, like this. So we cannot get all the things with one command in Postgres. MongoDB, we can use, if we use this function, we can get all the details. That means this is the installation binaries location. This is the current configuration file. Every database, it has to use one configuration file. There is a one binary location. There is a one data directory. There is a one log directory. All the things we can get it with this single command, a single function. So till this we know. So we already set up the MongoDB. First instance we started, we seen how to connect the MongoDB database. Then how to set up the MongoDB second cluster in the same server. Clear? You can say second MongoDB cluster setup. So means I want to change the data directory. I want to change the log directory, because so it should not use same data directory. In Postgres also same. We cannot use every cluster. We created a first cluster, MongoDB first instance. If you want to create a MongoDB second instance, same server, it's required separate port number. It's required separate data directory. Yes, everywhere it should use separate data directory. So can say, suppose this is the data directory I want to use for second cluster, /user1/mongo/mongo underscore data. You can use any location. This directory I want to use Mongo data directory. So Mongo log file, this is the location I want to use, Mongo log file location. So the binary is same binaries I want to, using same binaries I want to create another Mongo instance. The same configuration file, because every instance it should use the same separate configuration file. In the same location, if you want to use same configuration file, it will be override. So in the same location, if you want to use, you can rename the configuration file. What is the default configuration file? MongoD.config. Just you can keep MongoD1.config like this. So this is for second cluster configuration file. This is for first cluster configuration file. This is for first cluster data directory. This is for second cluster data directory. So whatever the data directories you want to separate, just create data directories. Create directories. Then change the ownership. Ownership should be MongoD. Then configuration file. We need to copy the configuration file from /etc mongod.config to mongod.1config. We need to copy the configuration file and rename. So for first cluster, this is the MongoD.config. For second cluster, MongoD1.config for second cluster. The service file also we are going to copy. For first cluster, what is the service file? MongoD.service file. For second cluster, I have to use another name, MongoD1.service. We have to copy the existing service file, existing configuration file, rename it. Then edit the configuration file. You can give the updated data directory, update log directory. In Postgres also same. we have to go to service file. There we have to give the latest data directory so that it pick the latest data directory. It create another cluster using different port, different data directory. Here also configuration file we have to edit the, we have to add the latest data directory, latest configuration file information. Once you edit the configuration file, then you can start the second cluster using specified port number 270. 17 is the first cluster, second cluster 27018. The port number should be different. The data directory should be different. Configuration file should be different. We are changing only configuration file and data directory and log directory. We are using same binaries. We are using same binaries. So we are making one process PID file to identify easily. So what is the process running? To make a process PID file. So that is the optional. If you want to use PID file, you can create this directory as well. Okay. So let's go and create. So this is my empty Linux server. So let me see cat /etc/ os-release. You can see Oracle Linux 8.10. So uname-r to get the kernel version. You can say uname-r. Uname-r. You can say it's a 5.15 version, but in the last UEK.64 bit. It doesn't support MongoDB for this type of kernel. So you have to change the kernel version, default kernel version to this only E18 only, not UEK. What is the available kernel versions? You can display /boot/VM Linux Z-star. It gives the what is the available kernel versions in this. You can say this is the current default one. You can say the above same. The last one is the current default one. So now we have to set this one default one, not UEK. Okay. So how to set? You can use this one /boot/ in real-time Linux admin, it take care this one. So this one I want to set the default. You can say the default is yes with the index 1 kernel. It was set a default one. Next reboot. Sudo reboot. We have to use init6 or sudo reboot. That anything is fine. Reboot. We are already root account, just reboot. That's it. If you are other account, Oracle user, Postgres user, then you have to use sudo account. Sudo. We are in the root account, then directly reboot. It's going to rebooting the Linux machine. After rebooting, we'll verify the kernel version uname-r. It should be displayed like this UE18, not UAK. So then we can start the SC Linux. We can configure. Then after we can start the MongoDB. Let's wait. It's restarting. Let's wait. Just slowly try to practice. Okay, it's easy compared to Postgres, but nowadays there is no option. So we have to at least two database. We have to make sure able to work. That's based on interest. That is it's the profile you get more weightage for your profile. The competition also very less. So you can easily try to enter into IT industry. Let's wait. Okay, yes, let me restart the session. Root Oracle. Okay. So let me check the kernel version. Uname-r. Now you can see it's not display u e k something. Okay. So, okay, we are good with the kernel version. Next, SE Linux. So, how to get the SE Linux information? Just you can use get enforce. Get enforce. Okay, it should not enforce. It should be permissive. How to set the permissive? You can use this command. These are all Linux admin activities. In real time, you have to get the Linux admin. They will help you to set this. Now, you can say now it's a permissive. Before it enforcing, now it's a permissive. We are good with the prerequisites. Now you can create a repo file. How to create a repo file? You can use /etc slam yum dot repos dot d. So under this location, all the repository files are there. Whatever Postgres or Mongo. If you go to here, can say LL, there is already repo files are there. Oracle Linux dot repo, UAK 18 dot repo. Okay, so these all are sample repo files are there. So we want to create MongoDB related repo file. MongoDB enterprise 7.0.repo. So this is the repo file. So we want to create, we already in the same location. So VI, the repo file name. So inside the repo file, we know how to where we can get this one. So we can get it from Mongo website. Okay, so you get the latest Mongo 9 version. Wherever the 9 is there, you can change the 7.0. That means it's going to install the 7.0 repository. So where this is the Linux operating system. So if you see 9, you can change to your OS version number, major version. Let me save this file. Now you can say LL, the repository file, MongoDB repository file available. So without this repository file, we cannot install MongoDB. From this repository file, we can install. So sudo yum install -y MongoDB -org. It's going to install MongoDB. So 7.0 version. Let's see. I think it's Mhm. Yes. Mongo, it's one is the okay. Let's see. It was done. Okay. So it was here, right? Yeah, this one. MongoOrg is the community version. So this is the enterprise DB. We configure repository file. So we have to use MongoDB -enterprise DB. Okay, that is the community version. MongoOrg. Let's go with the enterprise. Then after, just you can. So once you done, okay. So enterprise DB. Let me keep this all output. Let me keep the output into Notepad. Okay, then we can start systemctl start mongodb.service. Once installation is finished, Okay. So let me systemctl start MongoDB.service. Now I can verify the services status. Now you can see this is the default binaries location. This is the default configuration file. Inside the configuration file, we can see what is the data directory, what is the log directory, everything we can see in this. Okay. So let me cat. So you can see here. So this is the default port number assigned 27017. This is the storage DB path means it's a data directory location. So this is the log appended true. So log path means it's a log directory. Okay. So for log directory, data directory, for from where we can get it? From configuration file we can get it. So where is the config? What is the configuration file location? What is the file name means? We can see systemctl status. In the status of MongoDB services, we can see the configuration file under this one. Clear? Any queries from anyone? Let me keep. Okay. So now how to connect the database? Mongo SH. Using there is a Mongo SH command line tool. We can connect the database. Okay. So db dot server command line OPTS. So to get the all the details in one place. db dot server command line operations. Like this you can remember. Command, every word, the first letter is capital. Command line operations. Command C capital. Line L capital. Operations shortcut OPTS O capital. Open close bracket. So here we can see this is the binaries location. This is the configuration file name, location and file name. So same configuration file same. And this is the port number 27017. Currently its local connections are accepted. And process management time zone. This is the time zone information. And storage path means data directory. And log path means this is the log file name and location. Okay. Okay. So when you set up the first MongoDB instance, so like this, it's a default, all the default things. Now I want to create another Mongo instance in the same server. Now I want to create another Mongo instance. Let me keep in this notepad. Okay. So connect DB, you can from here. Okay. So I want to create second MongoDB instance, not cluster here. MongoDB second instance. Okay. So I want to use this data directory. This is the log directory. This is the process ID. So three directories I can create at a time. mkdir-p. Going to create these three directories. Then change the ownership. Always the ownership should be data directory, log directory, process ID. For all this ownership should be MongoD. In Postgres user. Here MongoD user. Okay. So change the ownership for all the directories at a time. Then permissions. So let me execute these three at a time. Create directories, change the ownership. Okay, let me go one by one. Okay, ls minus ld. So I want to see the owner of these directories. How can see? I want to see owner of this all the directories at a time. How can see? Yeah, Narsimha. I want to see owner of this all the directories.
ls minus ld.
LD. So you can use all the directories same. I want to see files inside these directories. All the directories inside files are directories I want to see. How you can see? Tell me. So who is the owner? First directory data, log directory, PID. Who is the owner of this all the directories?
Roots.
Root only. So this is the group name. Okay, so I want to see inside this any files or directories. I want to see how can see all the directories at a time. Tell me how to see the files and directories.
ls minus lrt
Tell me
of file names.
the not file name, directory names.
Directory name, yes.
So nothing is there. You can say, is there any able to see any files or directories? Total 0, 0. Okay. So like this we can say, okay, so all the directories at a time we can say, so it's going to verify any files or directories inside this. It gives first directory total 0, second directory total 0, third directory total. Like this you can keep 100 directories also, no issue. Like this you can create 100 directories at a time, that's fine. Now I want to change the ownership. ch1 hyphen r, so mongo d dot mongo d. So mongo d is the okay, so this is the OS level user. It should be owned by MongoDB user for all the Mongo directories. Means log directory, data directory, process ID, except binaries. In Postgres also same. Let me change the ownership. Yes.
Mongo is spelling mistakes.
Yeah. Let me. My keyboard it's not working. Mongo. MongoDB. Yes. Okay. Now let's say who is the owner? ls minus ld. Now it got changed. Okay, so like this we can create the directories, change the ownership, change the this data directory permission 700. Okay, so now whatever you directories required, going to use own directories. Data directory, I want to use my own directory, log directory, P. I created and changed the ownership and change the privileges as well. Now, so I want to copy I need second cluster service file I need. What is the first cluster service file? How to check the service file? What is the location on the service file? Hmm.
System
systemctl
status
spaces
mongo.
MongoD. So for Postgres service file, how to check? Hmm.
Systemctl status PostgreSQL
Yeah,
system.
same. Yes, Postgres SQL 16 dot service. So here, how to check the service file, configuration file, binaries location? You can use this one to know the service file. This is the service file. Can say. So for second cluster also, I need this service file. I want to copy and rename. So how to copy CP to same location with a different name? MongoD 1 dot service file. For second cluster, I want to use, okay, you can use any name. 2 dot service also you can use. 2 dot service. It's copied. Same location I want to see. So files under this location. Let's see. Can say files are created or not. This is the first cluster service. Second cluster service file I copied from existing one to another file name, that is MongoDB.service. Configuration file also I required for second cluster. So where is the configuration file? This is the configuration file. CP existing configuration file. Second configuration file I want to copy existing one to another file mongodb.config with same content. Now I can say ls minus lrt slash etc slash mongo star. It gives whatever the files are available under slash etc it gives. You can say now the service file is available under configuration file also available with a different name. Yes or no? That is about copy the service file under configuration file. Okay. Now, so we have configuration file and service file for both for second cluster. Now I want to edit the service file. Edit the service file. Edit the service file. And there we have to give the configuration file name. Let me go and edit this one. Then you can understand easily. So what is the second cluster configuration file? MongoDB.config. let me vi. This is the configuration file for second cluster. Let me see inside the. So there is a environment PG options. You can say here it's pointed to first cluster configuration file. So this is the second cluster configuration file. MongoD2.config. Just we need to change this configuration file name inside the service file. Save this file. Save this file. Yes or no? We change the configuration file. Cat grep mongo star.config or else /etc. You can see we got the environment options equal to -f. So this is the configuration file I changed. This is the configuration file second cluster because this service file I want to use second cluster. So under this service file should configure second cluster configuration file only. That's why we edit. We edit and after edit we verified. After you can reload the services. If you do any changes in the daemon service file, you have to reload the daemon service to reflect the changes. Systemctl daemon reload. Clear? So now I in the service file I configured right configuration file. Then I have to go on the service file. Let me vi/etc/mongo d2.config. Inside this, I have to use my own data directory, my log directory. These are all the things I have to use. So what is the log directory? Let me go on the notepad. What is the log directory I created? This is the log directory I created. You can see. This is the user one Mongo. You can see user one Mongo underscore log. You can see edit configuration file. We have to use MongoDB latest log directory and DB path. We have to use our own data directory. We have to update the log directory and the data directory. Under PID file process management, if you want to use PID file, you can use this one. So let me give the log directory file name and location. That is log. Let me here you can see. Here we have to use. Edit this one. Remove this one and give the latest. We created separate. We want to keep separate log directory. This is the log directory we created inside the same log file MongoDB.log. By default, it's created var log, but I want to use separate location. This is the data directory. So what is this? This is the default data directory. What is our own data directory we created? This is the own data directory we created. So the data files will be created inside this one. Okay. So process management. Can say under process management, if you want to keep PID file, you can use PID file path equal to this is the PID file. We want to keep PID file to identify the process. Can say just under port number also we want to change. Port number also we have to change. You can say 27018. By default, it's configured 17. It's 17 already running. Then you have to keep 18. So here we want to keep the log directory, then data directory, then PID file path directory, file name, then port number. Then you can save this file. I can say. So now my configuration file, it has the latest log directory, latest data directory, latest port number. Now I can start the services using this systemctl MongoDB 2.service. What is the service file we given? 2.service. Yes or no? So MongoDB 2.service. Let me use let me start the service. So inside this service file, it's using the configuration file. Inside the configuration file, it has latest data directory, latest all the things. You can see started. Let me verify status. can say configuration file. Inside the service file, it has let me, if you want to, you can verify cat grep slash etc, can say inside this service file we given correct configuration file. Again inside the configuration file we updated the our own data directory, own log directory, and port number, everything we updated inside the configuration file. So this MongoDB second instance started using this configuration file. So let me see. So how to let me, I want to connect the second cluster. How to connect Mongo sh hyphen p 27018. Okay, if you are, if you don't know this hyphen help commands, can say it gives the help commands. So if you want to know port number, you can say this is the username, password, connection options. Same, there is a connection options. Let's see. You can say hyphen port. So port to connect. Let me use this one 27018. I connected second cluster. Can say. So how to identify which cluster we connected? So you can use db dot server command line operation cmd line line operations obds open close brackets. Here it gives the our, based on the data directory we can identify we connected second cluster. Based on the port number we can identify we connected second instance. Based on the configuration file we come to know we connected second instance only. Okay. So when you give without port number, by default it connected to 27017 instance only. Can say db dot server dot command line outputs. So we connected first instance. Clear? Any question anyone? If you give ps minus efa grep mongo, can say two instances it's running. There is a two MongoDB process. First instance MongoDB process, server process. Second instance server process. The process ID different. Can say this is the binaries are same, different configuration location. So this file having different data directory, different log directory, different port number. This file also having different data directory, different log directory, different port number. Like this, you can create n number of Mongo instances on the same server, but it should have different log directory, different data directory, different port number, different configuration file as well. In Postgres, it's not required to different configuration file. The configuration file is same Postgres, but different port number, different data directory should be required in Postgres. In case of Mongo, we require a different different port number, different data directory, different log directory, different configuration file as well. That is about multi instances configuration in the same server. Okay, so yeah, that's it. My side. Let me keep the systemctl status. Okay, so you can today you can practice. Let me stop.